geez, what do these look like? I haven't seen enough of those. There he is. Yeah.
Me, right here.
You already got it mounted in the car?
Which one?
The fuse holder?
Of course, man.
Oh wow, look at you. You're on point today. I don't know.
Working.
Look at that. Look at he's on point. He's got it all set and ready to go. This is a 2020 Ford Explorer. It's not an F-150. Expedition. Sorry, my bad. Not an F-150. It's an Expedition.
Same concept.
Same concept. Same fuse holder. Same engine. Same all that funny stuff. This is the 0 gauge. It's also made. The whole thing's made out of aluminum. Which brings up a really interesting point that we noticed today. And the F-150 is made the exact same way, but we just hadn't really put two and two together, meaning I hadn't really stared at it. Let me go around this side because you can see it better. One of the things that, people always ask us about is, where's the ground and all that other fun stuff and how does it connect? And okay, so here's a factory ground point right here. There's two right there. And as you see, there's real tiny wires. So, I mean, it can't be drawing that much amperage on those little tiny wires, which makes sense because it's all aluminum. So there would be no reason that it needs to draw, that these two ground points. It probably supports that amount of amperage. They're small wires. They're probably 5, 10 amp circuits at best. There might be a total of 30 amps of draw there, 40 amps of draw, if we're lucky. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what circuits they are. However, let's look over here. And have you guys ever seen an airplane being built? These are rivets. And they go all over the place. So this top piece is riveted in. There is more rivets there. So what you're looking at is this whole frame of the car is riveted together. Not only that, let's look down here. Okay. So there's no welding done. It's just glue. It's just this nasty gluey crap that they glued it into place. Here's more rivets here. Actually, that's a screw. These are both screws. They're not even rivets. That's a rivet there. So this car is put together with overlapping panels that haven't been bonded together. They haven't welded the car together. It's just two panels stuck together, kind of like what you do with a ring terminal. When you put a ring terminal down on something like this, you put a screw on it, and that's the best you're getting. But the whole car is built that way. The whole car is glued and riveted together. So yeah, a small amount of ground pullage here is probably okay, but we're not doing this. We're doing a lot of ground pullage. We're doing 250 amps of pull over our ground. Because remember, positive and ground are the exact same thing. They're just as important. There's no difference. So if we have a great power wire with no resistance, but then we have a ton of resistance on our ground, well, then there we go. That's where our failure is going to happen. That's where the heat is going to come in. And that is where the whole system is going to suck from. So yeah, if we're doing something small, you could probably get away with using those grounds, just like the manufacturer did, because it's small. But when you're doing a big system, you got to kind of keep this in mind. Now, the F-150 is built the exact same way, but it was something that, you guys always ask, why do you guys, well, because. It makes sense.
Because we're us.
Because we're us.
That's it.
But I just wanted to show you guys two things because it's something to think about. Now, what are we doing in this, Fernando?
Oh, just hanging.
Just hanging?
Yeah, that's it. Nothing crazy.
No,
come on over here.
Come on over here. We're going to come over here. Hold on, let me flip it around. So, we're putting amps in it, obviously, but
Let's crooked.
Well, that's because there's supposed to be something underneath holding this up. Speaker-wise, we went with the Focal integration series.
Yeah.
So we have this is just sitting here. This has nothing.
That I test. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah. Oh, what were you thinking? So we went with integration, 6.5-inch coaxials for the rear, 6x9 integration Focal components for up front. Something to keep in mind when you're doing one of these. This is just like even though it's an Expedition, it's just like the Explorer. It's just like the F-150. The tweeters, these guys right here, The tweeters on the other side are actually powered off of the radio. They do not play off the BO amplifier. This has the Bang & Olufsen system in it, the BO. So little guy right here. We have not made logos for the doors yet. Anyways, this is so when you're integrating in the tweeters, you have two choices. One, you can run a set of tweeter wires all the way to the back, or you can go into the kick panel and grab your mid-range wire and attach them there if you're gonna go passive like we are. If you're going active, you're gonna be running the wires to the back anyways. But just keep that in mind when you're like, where are these wires? They're going to the radio. There's no reason to pull out the radio if you don't have to. Like, we avoid it like the plague. If we don't need to pull that out, we're not going to. And in this case, there's no reason to pull it out. It's not like we want to cut the harness behind the radio. That's just silly. Coming to the back of the vehicle here, let me tell you what, getting this out, this side panel, it's a freaking workout, man. This is a hard panel to get out. But that hole right there where Fernando is sitting, where that giant white plug is, that is where the factory amplifier is hidden. There's also a giant 10-inch subwoofer that goes in this whole area here. So that's what this indentation is. And there's 8 millimeters, there's 10 millimeters, there's 12 millimeters, there's 15 millimeters. There are so many different size, and it's ridiculous how many different size bolts there are to get this out. There's a Torx. It sucks. So top comes off first.
Yeah.
Then the bottom comes out. This also has to come out here. This does not pull up. This carpeted piece is not removable. It comes out from the bottom here. So this is all just one giant piece. And it's only held in, this whole big thing is held in by a 10 millimeter there and a 10 millimeter there. That's it. Then the whole piece just, you got to pull the jack out obviously, but then the whole thing comes out. And this area here, as you can see from where these holes are, these are all strategic placers. Another one right here, and there is one more right here. And these holes are going to be for our amp rack. So we're going with the LC 1.1500, yeah, 1.1500, which is going to drive this giant Scar Audio woofer over here. I think it's like it's one of the big ones. He had it in another car. And then the D 4.800 is going to power everything. Loop, the subwoofer is going to come out of that into this. These wires over here, these are the wires for the Zen A to B from Nav TV. So this is the power wire here. This is the data communication, the micro USB. This is where the sound is coming over. And then these four wires here are our speaker wires. This is kind of a hybrid. If you've ever seen our video where we talk about the Zen A to B, it's the same as the F-150s. You have to make a harness unless you want to use theirs. We use the amp harness for this. The unique thing in this over the F-150s is that giant harness right there isn't in the F-150s, but that's so that the whole amp and harness and everything comes out as one piece, and you unclip that. Then you remove these off of it, and it all goes back together and all that.
Yeah.
Question: installed a Kenwood DDX 6907 and 2018 Silverado with Maestro R. Issue is that the reverse camera sometimes fades to white. Any ideas? Ooh. Honestly, it sounds like a bad camera. The radio wouldn't be doing it. The Maestro RR would have nothing to do with it. It would just have something to do with the camera itself. My guess is you need a new camera, because there's nothing that you've done that would make that camera do that. So lots of potential for killer system. Lots of potential. But so what we're going with is we've built this. So this sits up like this. The distribution blocks are both mounted up underneath here. So they're covered up. The power wire is going to come in this way. How this is going to go into the car is this piece goes in first. The wire gets hooked up, then this sits on top of it, then the amplifier gets connected. So all this stuff, cool thing, you know, these all unplug. So this whole amplifier comes off. Our 4-gauge wires come up into it like this. That's why there's a U here. Speaker wires come out here. Sub wire goes out there. The only hole I haven't drilled yet is the one for this, because honestly I didn't know how I was going to do that until we started wiring it up. So what's going to happen is this RCA comes out of here. It's going to go up through the panel. It's going to come back around through the hole where the RCAs are, and it's going to connect into this. It's not the ideal situation, I know.
To this, not to this.
Yeah, into this right here. It's not what I wanted, like, oh, I want to do that, but it was the only thing that made sense. So that panel actually is going to come out of the car. It's going to sit here. I'm going to wire everything up, and then we're going to set it back into the car. That's how that's going to go.
Yeah. All right. No, they're not brand new. I forgot my shoes. I just grab whatever I have in the morning.
I said the same thing. I'm not going to lie. When I walk in, I go, damn, look at Fernando coming to work with Air Jordans. I'm paying you way too much, bro.
Yeah, I wish.
I know,
but,
right?
No, anyway, I changed the car seat in the morning from my wife's car to my car. So in the morning, I'm like, so I just grabbed the sneakers. They wasn't there. I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
And I just keep going the whole day. And then I came here and I'm like, dude, never changed.
Elias, Nando's speakers are trending.
I know, right?
So Ford question, 2019 F-150 with BO, already have Zen A to B, 6, 8. Can Radio Yank use MFT1RR with a new 10-inch screen? Correct, 100%. All you're going to have to do is run RCAs back. So because you've pulled that out, just need to run new RCAs. So there is going to be a little bit of work, obviously, but other than that, no, you're good. And what I would probably do is I wouldn't pull, well, you just need to get to wherever the Zen A to B harness is. So at the Zen A to B, if you're not familiar with what it looks like, this is the harness. So you're going to have something like this somewhere either behind a panel or right behind the Zen A to B. You need to get to this because you're going to unplug this and run new RCAs. So you'll need RCA butt connectors or just run all new RCAs from the amplifiers to that. But whatever works for you, that's how that's going to work.
Yeah. Bro, you have to hire us.
Who has to hire who?
Oscar. Yo, he's the money man right there.
I can't afford Oscar, man. Dean is doing a great job. Thank you, Elias.
Yeah,
also trending. Yeah. All right, so this is what's happening in there. Also, you guys always ask, this is half-inch blown PVC. If we roll this up and set it on its edge, you'll notice that there is this riser right here that raises this amplifier up a little bit higher. This whole reason this is sitting like this is because we'll take a look at the tray again, but the distribution blocks are going to be hidden up underneath it here. So when we go back and we look at this, as you'll notice, there's this area here that's lifted and another area that's lifted here. So it was just another half-inch, and I can clear those blocks and do a really cool looking thing. To use wire ferrules with distribution blocks and fuse blocks? Yes, actually we do. There's no difference. There's no reason why we wouldn't. You can you can see the ferrule. There's a ferrule right there. If we come around to the outside, there's 0 gauge ferrules on these. The 0 gauge ferrules we use do not have sleeves. There's another ferrule right there. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Your multiple audio control DSP amps. Yeah, no, you can, but they're not going to talk to one another. So the 0 gauge ferrules we use don't have the sleeves. We do have some, that's these, but they're gigantic. And then we have another one here. And what happens most of the time is, this is why we kind of bought these, like this will clear the sleeving, but then the ferrule is too big to go into anything. And this is the right size ferrule, but then this won't clear the sleeving. So we just said, screw it. And we got them with no sleeving on them, and life is good. It fits all the 0 gauge that we have. We also have some of those for the 8 gauge. These are for fuse holders. It makes it go on really nice, as well as here's the 4 gauge with no sleeving. I much prefer the sleeving, which are these, but, to be safe. It's just what it is. Q-Class 1001 for subs, Q-Class 504 for the front, Morel components, cut off. I have Camaro SS 150, stock alternator, normally AC. Alright, hold on. I don't know. I would have to hear that and figure out what's going on. If it's, if we're just trying to get more out of it. Most of the time when an amplifier cuts off, you're trying to get too much out of it. So it could be a battery issue, but
like the whole system
there
cuts
again,
off, or just
the high. So that would just have to be something we'd have to get in there and check.
Mm-hmm.
It's just voltmeter. We just have to get in there and play it and have it replicate what it's doing.
Mm-hmm.
If it does it all the time, it's the easiest easiest for us to figure out because we put the voltmeter in there. When it cuts out, we can see what the heck is going on.
All right, now other thing is like one day I forgot to actually tight the battery.
That's not it. That's not it.
No?
No.
Okay.
It would be something we'd have to put a voltmeter on and check.
All right.
I need to get longer 16 gauge ferrules.
16 inch.
I mean, that's what she said. Only the front components. Yeah, so like I said, we would just have to get in there and figure out what's going on.
What would be the issue?
Yeah. Because there again, it would have to be. We just have to see how it's playing.
Yeah.
Why have a fused distribution block on top of the main power wire?
Fuse.
What do you mean? Why? That doesn't make sense. Why have a fused distribution block on top of the main power wire fuse? We don't. There is no. I mean, there's a fuse up underneath the hood. These are just straight distribution blocks. We just have to have something that splits the zero gauge, into two. So we need a 4 gauge and a, but yeah, that's normal. I mean, that's what we do in every F-150. Can you run multi? Yeah, I already answered that one. All right. Anything new coming from audio control? I mean, other than the DSP Micro and the anniversary edition of the Epicenter. Did I say DSP Micro? I mean Epicenter Micro.
Epicenter Micro.
Okay, so we have the Epicenter Micro. We have the new bass knob.
Yep.
We have the anniversary edition of the Epicenter. So there's a lot going on. We'll talk more tonight as far as what to look forward to with audio control. Obviously, we're going there later this week, so we'll be able to kind of fill you in with what's happening. Thanks for the F-150 answer. Been tweaking the new... the new Sony. It'd be nice. Mark from Cardio Fabricator uses fuse blocks on top of his main power wire. Fuse blocks. What I meant, not sure why. Okay. All right. So yeah, I get what you're saying. If these weren't fused amplifiers, then we would have fused distribution blocks. But these are fused amplifiers, so I'm not worried about it. These are gonna do what we need them to do. I mean, it's just how much caution you want to put into it, I guess, is really what it comes down to. There's no. I mean, yes, you could put another fuse block here if you wanted. I don't feel it's necessary if I already have these fuses here. These are going to protect these amplifiers. I guess.
I mean, you can do it.
Do whatever you like. I mean, if for some crazy reason, and there again, we're talking about 1%. We're talking about 1% issues here. Not even 1%. We're talking of less than 1% issues here. And so if something tragic were to happen and it didn't blow those fuses and it somehow managed to backfeed into the rest of the system, I mean, these are like act of God kind of things, and you all, I mean, yeah, it's just how cautious you are, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, if you start blowing,
but I feel that's why
more problems.
Yeah, but I mean that's why they put the fuses on the amplifiers. I mean, yeah, whatever works for you. What would be longer? One kicker L7R port? Louder. Okay, louder. Why did I say louder? Because I'm guessing.
That's fine. Okay. So
one L7R ported or two P2s and a Zen enclosure box for an Accord running a D51300. L7R is going to be the shallow one. The two P2s.
No, I think the L7R is the blue one.
Oh,
the regular
that's
L7,
the Q.
but that's the blue one.
So not the Q, the R.
Not the Q. It's just the R.
The basic R.
The basic R, yeah.
I don't know.
I'm gonna say the ported. Yeah,
I still think the Q power two P2s with that amount of power. I mean, you have more cone area and it's ported. I still think that would be louder.
Yeah.
If I'm guessing, that would be my guess. I mean, we just did one not too long ago. It was pretty loud. Hey guys, this is probably an amateur question, but how do you guys terminate RCA wires?
How long?
No, terminate means to stop. I don't think I understand the question.
That's what I'm saying.
But how do you terminate?
It's not the
RCA
terminate.
No, terminate means to cat. That's like the terminated wire would be like, do you solder it? Do you crimp it? What do you do to the end of it? On an RCA, I don't really know what you're asking, but like for our RCAs, we use like these are the Stinger 4000s. We put shrink wrap on them so we know which one is which. Over on this here, if we leave this bundle in the car, we have all these RCAs. We're either going to put RCA caps on them or we're going to put shrink wrap over them so that they're not live. If we use the RCA ends that we use, like the Stinger X end,
so that's what
then we solder these on and put shrink wrap over them.
What's the process to solder an RCA head?
Well, I don't think I have any RCA heads here to solder them, but I mean, yes, you'd solder them. Honestly, the best RCA heads I've ever seen that were like the coolest were the DD Audio, because DD Audio, they just twist on. It was really cool, and then they have like a set screw. So that was actually kind of neat. But, if you're going to DIY a set of RCAs, don't set it there.
No, I'm just like, so they can see it.
You'd have to solder this all in, and it sucks. It's just not any fun. You have to solder in your center post. You have to crimp this on. You have to solder on your back piece.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to. I'm not a fan. It's a lot of work. I mean, I just buy ends. Hey guys, this is probably okay. I already answered that one. Okay, God likes Blaze. That's why we have Thunder. Smaller runs? No. I mean, GL doesn't have fuses on some of their They do not, and they do recommend in their owner's manuals. We actually had a whole thing on that. The HD series amplifiers do not come with external fuses, and because of that, we called them because, they're supposed to have short circuit protection built into them. We called JL because someone's like, oh, you got a fuse. I was like, well, according to this, I don't. So we called JL, and I got the stutter dude on the phone that was like, well, so he couldn't give me a straight answer. So I was like, all right, so basically the answer is fuse them or not fuse them. Well, I mean, it's not like it would hurt them to fuse them. So that just to me meant yes. We talked to Rockford after that about their amplifiers because they use short circuit protection, and their guy was not as wishy-washy, so to speak. And we talked to their engineer. Because obviously we have better contacts there than we do at JL, and he's like, oh no, there's like a 0.00001% chance, so you take that as you will. Personally, I would fuse it. And I was like, all right, well, that's what we'll do. What's the process of soldering to an RCA head? Okay, so yeah, I mean, really at the end of the day, you want to make some kind of rig that actually holds the head. That makes things a lot easier, because if you got to roll it around, it sucks. Yes, I have the DD ones. They are nice. So, yeah, DD Audio. Check those out. We called them. We wanted to get some, but they were kind of rude, so we just moved on. What do you guys think of the old Rockford Turtle amps from the 90s, like the Punch or the Punch? Have you ever installed them? I've installed a lot of those because, I'm old, and I've been doing this a really long time. I'm not... Okay. See, there you go. I have this, I have that, I have that, I have that. And you'll notice the thing here that they're all doing, they're all hanging on the wall. The reason why they're all hanging on the wall is because they're old amplifiers. And these amplifiers, new amplifiers, are way better, way smarter, way more efficient, just sound better. Nostalgia sounds amazing. Like we all remember how good something sounds. No, we don't. So they were fun amps. They were cool back in the day. There's so much better equipment now. It's just, I mean, if you want to do an old school build, cool. But for me, my money, buy new stuff. Untitled D 4.800 or the Audison DSP amp, not the Forza. Taking in mind the Audison channels are gonna be bridged to... I would... No. No, I would just do the D 4.800. They're different style amplifiers. You're talking about the Prima. I would just do the D4.800, because you got to remember, when you're bridging an amplifier, you're asking it to run full tilt boogie, as Kip would say, all the time. Whereas if you just get an amplifier that, like this, in case the 4-channel, which is the same, more or less the same amount of power, it's not running that way, okay? It just, say it again. I would just do the 4.800. I love both amplifiers, I really do, but in that application, I'm going with the 4.800. Unless size is like, I just need something that's microscopic, in which case that would be the only reason I would do that. Would you recommend a Moscone Aerospace DSP over the Helix, and if so, why? Ooh, we were actually talking to somebody about that. I don't really have a why I would do it, and honestly, I don't think I would. I really like the Helix software more than I like the Aerospace software. And there again, that's a bias, meaning I haven't gotten as deep into their software as I have the Helix software. So I'm sure once I used the Aerospace software more, I would be more familiar with it, and then I could answer and say, oh no, you got to buy this. I don't think either one of them is, they're both like, wow, DSPs. It's like, do I want the red Bentley or do I want the green Bentley? I don't know. What do I feel like today? It's just, to me right now, with the experience that I currently have, the Helix software makes a little bit more sense. 6 months from now, if I get the opportunity to play with the Aerospace that I have sitting over there, or the Atomo that I have sitting up there, I might have different. I might say, oh no, here's why. But I'm, like we always say, download the software and play with it. I've just played with the Helix software more, and it makes more sense to me currently. So, if you know somebody that has an Aerospace, I would recommend sitting down with him and having him kind of walk you through it. And if it makes sense to you, then by all means, whichever one works. See you guys picking up kids at school.
Bye, man. Take care.
All right. Old amps equal artwork. Yes, they do, Fro. Do you fuse the Rockford Fosgate T-Series 404 with a 60 amp fuse? Do we?
That's recommended.
Is that the recommended fuse for it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the... One of my biggest complaints about manufacturers, all of them, is the lack of information that they put in the box. It's online, but it's not in the box. So every time, and there again, we're repetitive stupids, because we could easily just print off and write down all the amps we have and all the fuse ratings on them, but we don't. So every time we go to put one of those in, it's been a month, it's been a couple weeks, go online and we got to look it up. It's aggravating. I wish it'd just be on the box.
It's just, you gotta go and look at it. Yeah.
Dean says he's not a salesman, he just sold new amps. I'm not though, but hey, I just speak the truth. And a two-way active, do you run RMS power to tweeters or more or less? So I'm thinking of how I want to say this. That's the thought word there. Tweeters will never see RMS power. They will never see that 120 watts. They'll never see that 80 watts or 35 watts. They'll never see that, okay? They're rated like that because when the signal gets down to the tweeter, they're going to see maybe between 1 to 5 watts if you're lucky. So you have to burn up that energy to get it there. The reality is you just don't need the power for the tweeters, all right? People put way too much power into their tweeters. They don't cross them over properly, or they turn up their gains, and they blow the tweeters. Most tweeters are like 6 ohm, some are 8 ohm, some of them are 4 ohm. Staggered power, that's what the passive crossover is doing, that's why you have the attenuation, where it says like -3, -6, 0, because the tweeters don't need as much power to get up there and dance. They're more efficient than the mid-range. So it's typically what I like to run is more power to the mid-bass and less power to the tweeters if I have the opportunity. So if I can do, let's say, between 35 to 70 to the tweeter and then double that for my mid-bass, I'm a happy guy, and I feel the mid-ranges too. Gain is not a tweeter's friend. Distortion is not either. These are all common sense things in the sense that, not saying anybody is stupid, I mean common sense in the fact that if you look at a tweeter and you look at this little tiny tinsel lead, so if we look at this factory tweeter here and we see this little tiny thing, that little tiny microscopic, okay, that's all this thing has in order to handle power. How much power is that actually going to handle? You know, if this is a 250 watt tweeter and you say that little thing is going to handle 250 watts, and then you grab like
Let me show you this one.
Which one? Oh, look at him getting all jumpy. You know, and then we grab a subwoofer and we look at like the tinsel leads here. Okay, this is this is like a 300 watt woofer. How is that and this even on the same? Like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. There's no magic here, guys. There's none at all. It's just what it is. So don't stress out about how much power you're going to get to your tweeters. You're going to have plenty. You're going to have plenty of power. There isn't an amplifier 35 watts and up. Like, it's going to be plenty of power. If you got a 70 watt amp, it's plenty of power. But yeah, it's all good.
5,000 watts.
5 million watts. If I'm pushing roughly 120 watts to the Monroe Maximo woofer, what would be good crossover point using a 24 dB octave, trying to get as much mid bass as possible? 80. I mean, that's where we're going to do it, 80 hertz. You know, and then if you have a Maximo tweeter, you're probably going to be at 2400. And so you're going to be 2400 to 80 at 12 dB. Death Bounce Arnold's. Yeah, I have no idea on that one. That's funny. Will Paul ever add marble tile to the shop floor? This is marble tile, man. This is total marble.
This is brand new.
Dean, keep gains as low as possible, whether they're passive or active. Thus, he doesn't blow tweeters. I mean, I am conservative on the gains. Only if you want to see them fall on their asses when it rains. Okay. I don't know what... Fro was responding to somebody. Do you guys ever install alarms? No, we stopped. We're done. We don't do any alarms anymore. Life is good. Used to, don't anymore. It was the happiest day of my life. How to set up active crossovers for tweeters with the Helix just active crossover setup device. I would have to bust out the software, but in the top pane where you have the crossover settings, there is a high pass, low pass. Yep, so high pass is going to be the bottom, low pass is going to be the top, meaning the high pass is going to be how low can that speaker play, and the low pass is going to be how high can that speaker play. As far as how do you figure out what crossover points, you need to know what the FS is of the tweeter. That's where you typically start. So if your tweeter's FS is, let's say 2000, you're going to cross the tweeter over at 4000. If the FS is like 1200, you're going to cross it over at 2400. Unless you're planning on the higher the crossover point on the tweeter, obviously the more abuse it's going to take. So if you're going to abuse the crap out of it and play nothing but hip hop and gangster rap music, maybe multiply the FS by 3 and you'll have a much safer number. Focal, they cross all their tweeters over at 5000.
All of them.
All of them. It's just what it is, so you don't blow their tweeters. But so you have to be careful. You have to be careful. All right, guys, listen, it's 6, 8, something like that. Either way, we're going to, right now, Fernando's getting ready, setting up the show. We're going to be live again to answer your questions at... Is that your boombox? Because you can't live without your radio? Yeah, that's the factory subwoofer. It's like a 10-inch. Yes. It's like a crappy 10-inch driver, so it's pretty cool. But we're going to be live over on Facebook at 6:30, so make sure you guys tune in. We'll answer more of your questions. We'll talk about the audio control trip. It'll be a good time. We're pretty excited. We'll see you in a few. Bye. You just Uber back and forth?
Yeah, that's it, man.
Yeah. Well, we all can't, have Fernando money.
Oh. No way has Fernando.
Champagne, caviar.
I'm broke. Yeah, that's it.
What was the point of sweeping all that, only to then sweep
Just to see who asked.
Well, who else is gonna? It's not like they're gonna type in and go, "Why is Fernando sweeping the floor?" Only to then dump stuff on the now clean floor.
So I can have more things to do.
Okay, are you gonna get the big mess between them?
Of course.
Well, then why are you cleaning everything around it if you're just gonna?
Watch.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm watching. Yep, we're watching. We're still watching.
Well, keep watching.
Uh-huh.
It's gonna take a while.
I mean, I just use the vacuum.
Really?
Yeah. Just throw that in the cabinet, man. This is high quality stuff right here. Watching Fernando sweep.
I gotta do something.
Way to make more work for yourself. I know, right? What do you mean you gotta do something?
Look at that.
Okay. Just saw in one of your videos that you had an 8-inch Mojo sub. How is the Mojo line of subs? Would you, honestly, yes, we do have it's a 6-inch actually. And it's sitting up here. It was something that they gave us last year at Knowledge Fest. We've been trying to get a box built for it. Because I'm not gonna build a box. We never got it, so that's where we're at.
But as soon as we find out, we're going to let you know.
Yeah. I wonder if that would fit in the Ground Zero 6.5 box. No, it's too deep, right?
It's too deep. It's too
Yeah.
Yeah, the magnet is
Way too deep. Yeah, plus it probably wouldn't work out. Anyways, hey guys, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Good morning, man.
4 o'clock. I gotta be honest with you.
What are you doing, dude?
Working on this all day.
You sleeping here?
I
You
mean,
just woke up?
honestly, I kind of, yeah, I mean, it's not like I got a lot of sleep last night.
Yeah.
But, speaking of last night and this night, so for those of you guys, sorry about the upload not being there this morning. Every now and then things get caught in YouTube purgatory, and hi from Holland.
Yeah.
It got caught in purgatory. So thank you, Bobby, for texting me this morning to let me know that it didn't go up because I hadn't had time to check it. I had stuff to do this morning. Tomorrow there won't be a video, so Wednesday there'll be no video. I apologize now for it. What we're gonna do is we're putting up a post to remind you guys that we will be at Audio Control Thursday and Friday doing live events. Those are both gonna be awesome. So don't think of it as a live event, like it's a class. So we are doing a class that you guys wouldn't normally get the opportunity to see because it's made for anybody. I didn't go real deep on it because I had a feeling at some point we would probably migrate it over to you guys, but you guys are going to get the opportunity to see it and be part of it. And towards the end, if we still have time and Fernando does a good job, maybe ask some questions. What's up, Oscar? But it is called Demystifying the Black Box. We'll be doing that Thursday. There again, I will post the times. We talked about it last night on the show a couple times, and off the top of my head, I don't remember the times. But you guys will be able to join us for that. It'll be on the YouTube 5-Star Network. We're not going to do it on Audio Control's page because we're there, and they're like, let's just do it on your page. And we're like, okay, we'll do it on your page. And then Friday, so these are both two really cool shows because Thursday is a training. And there again, we're partnered with Audio Control on this training, but it's not anything that, like, if I don't like Audio Control or I'm not a fan of their whatever, it doesn't matter. It's for everybody. The class is for everyone. There is going to be where we're going to show you how the features work using the Audio Control DSP, obviously, but the class is for anybody interested in DSP to kind of help wrap your head around it. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you for putting the time up because I've already forgotten. Honestly, I'm like a performer. When do I need to go on? Now. Okay. Very similar, to answer your question on those two DSPs. They're very similar. Very similar. Anyways. But anyways, so you guys will get to watch the class. It's cool. And then Friday, earlier in the day, we're going to be doing a round table with audio control. And the cool thing about the round table is, like, Chris was like, I just kind of want to give, like, the audio control, like, State of the Union, like what's going on with the company as far as like delays and COVID and products that are scheduled to come out that are going to be delayed, but they're probably going to talk about them anyways. We'll get to what's the install today. Don't worry, we're going to get to this. It's done, so we're going to show you that. Just kind of teasing this. So anyways, the point is both Thursday and Friday shows are going to be really hardcore. They're going to be really fun. And the reason why we're not going to do a show tonight is because, well, I need to go home and pack. So we brought in the camera bag stuff today so that we could pack up all our camera gear and get that ready to go. Well, I need to pack tonight because if I'm missing something, I need to have time to wash it and all that other crap. Like, I'm out of toe socks, so I got to wash socks. So,
Okay.
I know. It's crazy. Anyways, enough of that. Yes, audio control State of the Union. Okay, so let's flip this around and let's see what's going on. So this is a 2020 Ford Expedition. Big Expedition. If you didn't catch yesterday's show, I'd strongly recommend either watching that or if you're watching this now. Anyways, what we got going on is the Focal integration speakers. So we have the 6x9 component up front, 6.5 coaxial in the rear. We've added in the Focal logo over the Bang & Olufsen logo, which is kind of cool. This is the same one that goes up here into the dash. We've also put in the F-150 audio control bass knob that we installed. There, it's got the little power light and whatnot, so that goes into the dash there. And it just barely reached. Oh my gosh, it was like, it just barely reached. I would go Rockford. Anyways, in the trunk here, we have the amplifiers. So this is, if you saw it yesterday, this was kind of out and about and on the bench, and we kind of talked about it. So now they're in place. So you have the LC 1500 and the D 4.800. So we're using this as a 4-channel, front and rear, nice and simple. And then output comes over to the sub amp. And if you're like, we had to do some trickery, because I did not want to go this way. As you see, that 0 gauge, it's like there is no room here whatsoever for this. The speaker wires are coming out into this tunnel and running up into this area over here. This is also where the RCAs run, because this is the Zen A to B. I'll talk about this in a second. So the RCAs come like this, and they go up into these Zen A to B. Like 3-footers were perfect, and then we use the 6-footer to come around, and it comes around the outside, and it comes in through this hole here and back into the amplifier, because I wanted to stay, I didn't want it to, there was just no good way to drape it over the top of this. So this is also where the bass knob went. This is also where the remote turn on went. You can see the blue wire there. Hang on a second. Where's the light? Do you see the light somewhere over there? Might I get it from you? Sorry guys. Let me get the light so it's not so dark and gloomy. This is the Expedition. And it's identical to the F-150s. So anyways, there we go. So those got a hole there. 10 gauge subwire goes out. All right, so you guys can kind of see this. All right, this is a question we get all the time. All right, this is a mono amp. There's only one channel. That's in the model number right next to it, one channel. But we have 2 sets of leads here. We have a negative positive, a negative positive. And as you can see, oh my gosh, I took like the center positive and the center negative. What is going on? These are bus bars. So this is just a loop. So you have these looped here, these looped here. It's one piece. It doesn't matter where I connect my positive or where I connect my negative, just so I connect it to a negative and or a positive. It's not, you don't bridge it, you don't run it parallel, it's done. All you have to do is hook up your speakers to it. The reason why we ran a 10 gauge is because it's 1500 watts and he's got this giant Scar Audio Beast right here that he's powering it with. As opposed to, like, if we would have had 2 subs, we could have ran 2 wires. But either way, this is just there for your convenience and nothing else. That's all. It's kind of nice, actually, if you think about it. That way, if you are running like 2 giant woofers and you need to run 2 12 gauge, has anyone ever tried to get 2 12 gauge wires into that little tiny hole? Even though it is an 8 gauge hole. Some amps don't. They have like little tiny 12 gauge holes, and you got to get 2 12 gauge into that. It kind of sucks. So we ran both power and ground. They tuck over and go that way, which you can't see because they're hidden up underneath this amplifier. And then this amplifier, now you can kind of see the RCAs and how they work. This is a C-cut here because what happens, in order to get this all to go in, it kind of has to be built some in the car. It can't just all be assembled. So like this piece had to go in first, and then this panel screwed on top of it, and the amplifier screwed into place because we needed to put the last 2 screws for the 0 gauge in. It's got a dual 0 gauge front power and ground. Now this is the Zen A to B, and this is what is talking to the car to get us our preamp output. And the reason why we put it here in this pocket as opposed to hiding it somewhere is just that. We did not want to hide it somewhere. Every now and then, sometimes, this may lock up or might do something stupid, or we just might need to get to it to see what is going on. Check our lights on the top. As you can see, there's like a light there right now. That's that orangish green glow. That's telling us that it's talking to the car and communicating properly. But if it was blinking, then there could be an issue. And if it's buried behind this panel, we wouldn't be able to see that. So I wanted to make sure it was somewhere where I could get to it, somewhere I could service it if I need to without having to pull this whole side of the car out. Because let me tell you what, getting this out sucks. It's horrible to get this out. It's just a nightmare of everything. So I wanted to make sure it was easy, and then they had this nice pocket right here. So very convenient, very awesome. Pretty happy with that. All right. Real question, does it slam? Yes, it slams rather well. 1500 watts on that one sub. It get down and boogies. If Fernando's done sweeping, we could probably play something for you.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. He says yes. So I'm gonna close this back up and move the subwoofer into place. If you only ran a single RCA from a DSP to sub-amp, do you lose any voltage versus running RCA? 2 RCAs. So it really just depends more on the signal, not necessarily on the RCA. So for example, in this, we're running both, we're doing a non-fade output for the subwoofer. Now the Zen A to B has a dedicated subwoofer output. However, we wanted to use the DSP and EQ out of the D4800. So running that dedicated subwoofer output was kind of silly. So we ran it through the DSP. By non-fade, I mean I'm running channels 1 and 2 and channels 3 and 4 into the subwoofer. That is increasing the voltage input into the amplifier and giving them more power. However, just like anything else, it's still going to distort at the same point. So though it's like, oh my gosh, it's great, the amplifier's still going to clip at the same point. It's just how far up do I have to turn the gain. So now I have more signal coming in the amplifier. I can keep the gain down lower. So it's not like, it's always going to be a 1500 watt amp. Doesn't matter what I do. It's just where on the gain is it going to give me that 1500 watts. There's been plenty of times where we run a single RCA over into the amplifier with, you just set it accordingly. I should have an Epicenter. I agree, but it's not my car, and he didn't want one. So, which DSP is good? I would go with the Rockford DSR1. If those are my choices. Honestly, I don't know about the SQ audio, so I'll just, out of the other ones, I would go with the DSR1. Play some Def Cat music on YouTube. It doesn't have any copyright. That is Oscar. You have to send Fernando a link. Def Cat. DEFCAF.
I got Dead Mouse.
That's got copyright.
For the, oh, okay.
But try just go to YouTube and type in DEFCAF, see what happens there. All right, let's see. Real quick, okay, we'll get to that. Any 6-channel amps with high level inputs? LC61200 from Audio Control has an LC8i built into it, so yes. Do most amps run a lot cooler now than you'd noticed. Never seen you do any fans, especially when in a spare tire location. You know, it's weird. And plus, we live in Florida. I mean, I'm going to have to say yes on that. But, yeah, we never do any fans. And, I mean, every now and then we'll run into an issue of heat, but most of the time we don't. Are you worried about amps getting hot when that door is closed? No, I'm not. So this guy, this particular customer, he actually had this same, he had that sub in the back of a BMW where everything was put into, he wants everything out of sight. So remember, guys, car audio is 100% about compromise. That's it. It's all about compromise. You have to make compromises no matter what. We could put fans back there, but then he's going to hear the fans. He doesn't want to hear the fans. We could put the amps on the side. He doesn't want to see the amps, so the amps go there. And that's it. That's really what it is. So you have criteria. You meet criteria. If not all things work out, you have to figure out what's more important to you as the customer and also the builder. And that's it. That's all it comes down to. Some people, why didn't you do this? Well, because it didn't work with the plan that we had put in place. All right? That's the difference between somebody getting paid for the job and somebody that just buys stuff and puts it in the car. We have to figure out exactly what the customer wants, what their goals are, and then we figure out how we're going to do that, and then we have to say, hey, look, if we do this, you may have that. So what's more important? Okay, lecture over. You ready?
Yeah. I mean, I find one. Let's see.
Okay.
He knows. Miller Lite has more taste.
Oh, it's a Miller Lite commercial. Let me know when you get past the Miller Lite commercial. All right, let me scroll back down here. I'll take one. It's all about the money. No, it's not. It's just all about the criteria. When setting Helix equivalent... Oh, hold on. We'll come back to that. Now, I'm sure the phone is just going to clip out because that's what happened last time.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That's it? That's all you're going to give me? He's kind of conservative. Moving my hair. Okay. All right, there we go. So he's got bass. Hopefully that just totally didn't destroy the mic on this. Well, that's what he wanted. Okay. There's that term, Fernando.
What's
Sounds
that?
clean. You wanted it clean.
Yeah, I just cleaned that. That's why. Yeah, that's what I was feeling and everything.
Dean Fernando, how you doing? Well, we're anxious to get the heck out of here. I got to be honest with you. Wednesday, just want to get through Wednesday so that we can move on. Gear gate flexing. Oh, rear gate flexing. I mean, it's making a whole bunch of noise. Turn it up again, Fernando. Oh, he just closed it down. You can play anything though, because they won't hear it back here. Yeah, it's not gonna. Back to Mojos, any size, are they worth the money? I honestly have never listened to the Mojo. They look really nice though. I can tell you what's happening is the fuse box over here is moving. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's 112.
Good. Sounds good.
Sounds good. He's gonna be
clean,
happy.
it's clean.
It's clean.
Try clean day.
All right. Sound Mag. I haven't heard of that one either. Do you have any videos on how to set crossovers on NEX head units? Yes, and it's all the same. So any video, yeah, honestly, you could probably watch any one of the videos we've done, whether it goes back like 3 or 4 years, like on an 8100 or 4000, 4400 or anything like that. They haven't changed anything in those settings, so it's all there. When setting Helix equivalent to Epicenter, how do you find frequency to set at? Whether it's whoever makes the harmonic restoration device. So you have to figure out, it's a lot of it's done by ear, all right? But you also, it depends on how they do it. Like audio control is an octave shift. I don't know how Helix is doing it. If they stole the technology or copied the technology, then it's also an octave shift. An octave is a doubling or a halving of a frequency. So for example, if you pick 80 hertz, then the effect is going to happen at 40 hertz. All right, so it's going to shift down. If you pick 80 hertz, if you pick 40 hertz, then it's going to octave shift up to, no, if you pick 40 hertz, it's going to octave shift down to 20, so you'd never go that low. 80 hertz is probably a pretty good point in which to be at, and then just see where it goes from there. If it's too boomy, you can go up. If it's not boomy enough, you can go down. And then the width is going to be how much of it, how fat it gets on that frequency. So I would probably, there again, 80 seems to be the magic number, maybe 70 or 80, and then adjust. I like to start out as fat as possible just to see where I'm at. So I'm turning the effect all the way up, and then kind of go from there because I like it to get all crazy on me. All right. What's your favorite 12-inch sub or pair with the LC 1.900 for a sealed enclosure? Sealed enclosure. I don't like sealed enclosures. That's the problem. I'm not a fan. I like ported. I mean, for me, like two P312s and a ported box is just, I love it. I love the way it sounds. It's the one thing I just absolutely dig Rockford makes is that P3. I think it's a fun subwoofer. I like the sound it makes. It's big and fat, but I'm not a sealed guy. If I had to do, like if someone's like, dude, you have to do a sealed enclosure, I'm going to probably pick up a set of Hertz Millis, you know, because that was impressive as hell. Like that woofer in a sealed box was like no joke. That was probably one of the best sounding sealed boxes I've ever heard. Yeah, it was incredible. Incredible. Dean, when audio control is going with when is audio control going with parametric Q in their DSPs? Why would I know? I mean, I know a lot of things, guys, but time frame like that, all I can tell you is that if it was up to them, it would be tomorrow. I can tell you right now, if it was up to Matthew and Chris, they would have parametric EQs like tomorrow, but it's not up to them. So I don't know. Maybe we'll find out on Friday if there's any updates. You know, they keep hinting at some point there's going to be some form of like DSP Pro. There again, I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to see what they have to say. I'm using Morel Virtu 602s. Confused between DSP or Go. I'm guessing active. Maybe. I don't know. Large USB thumb drive for head unit. Largest USB thumb drive for head unit. Depends on the head unit. If it'll read what is it? FST. Oh God, not FAT32. NTFS. Thank you. If it'll read NTFS, that's a hard drive. I would pick up like a small, like, I don't know, 2 terabyte hard drive or 512 gigabyte, and you know, little SSD drive, because it'll play it. So I wouldn't do thumb drive at this point. If you got a shit ton of music, I would just do an SSD drive and plug it in and call it a day. The problem is, no, there's no problem. I mean, if you're like, okay, so if you got like awesome music, like if you got like 100% CD quality music, yeah, I would get a hard drive and plug that in. If you just got music like that you've accumulated over the last 20 years, man, just get a streaming service because it's way nicer, especially now. Mm-hmm. But anyways, back to if you got to do thumb drive, it seems like 16 is kind of where it taps out at. That's why I would just go with a SSD drive. Any talk about new Rockford Fosgate Punch or Power Series? Nothing that I know of. They have not said anything to us about any of it. But we may know later in the year. We'll talk more about that at a later date. I need to come see you ASAP. Okay. Going overkill. K2 three-ways with 130 to each tweeter, 130 to each mid, and 250 to each 6.5. That's a bit much, but sure, why not? I need a Rockford system installed Durango SRT coming from New York City. I mean, okay. Just set it up. As always, good stuff. No, I do not have the HN3 in stock. Wait to Thursday or Friday when they stab and ask that question. Yeah, I mean, worst they can say is we're working on it. I mean, that seems to be the pre-programmed answer. Dean, when is audio control? Okay, I already asked that one. All right, let's scroll down here and get some new one. What kind of sneakers is Fernando wearing today? Oh, he went back to his old classics. He's got his Adidas on. Yeah, he's got his work shoes. Especially when Spotify goes hi-fi. Yeah, exactly.
He said something like system cuts off.
Whose?
My signal keep cutting out on my phone here.
Okay.
Especially when Spotify goes hi-fi.
Yeah. Well, in that case, the SSD drive makes 100% exact. Okay, so it says 12-volt SSD drive. No. You don't need a 12-volt SSD drive. You just need an SSD drive. It works off of the USB. So the phantom power in the USB is what we'll just say, for lack of a better term, is what powers up the SSD drive. So micro SSD drive. So if you have never seen one before, hold on. They look like this. So this is the SanDisk. This one is this is a 1 terabyte. So this is a 1 terabyte SSD drive. It's got a USB-C on the end. This will plug right in and do what it needs to do. But it's not a big thing. They're really tiny. This is what we use to store all our shows, all the live shows on. There's another one in here too, which I have no idea what it's for, but I got 2 of them. All right. The Soundworks Ada. He never comes on anymore. No, Ada's place is Absolute Electronics. Ada and I will be at Disney on the 11th of September. So I'll have him on. We'll do a quick shout out. So that'll be like a Saturday. We'll have Ada on. You guys can say hi. No, Nando, forgive me. I was asking the question multiple times and my live feed keeps going out on me. So don't know if you answered the question when I cut out. Oh, I don't remember.
No.
What was his question?
The Spotify Hi-Fi was for the older gen question.
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't find it over here, man. So if you can type it again, that would be good.
What kind of music do you listen to in your car? Do you listen?
I listen to everything. No.
I was gonna say no, you don't. You listen to whatever Sebastian wants to listen to in the morning.
In the morning, yeah. Then normally it's like EDM.
And then, what do you listen to on the way home? That's probably when it varies between stuff, right?
Yeah, I blame Spanish music.
Spanish music.
It's just anything I can find. For that moment, like, oh, this is good. I play it for 3 days, constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so out of it last night. Apparently, another friend of mine died. So yay there.
That is correct, Christian.
That I was running and I made a phone call while I was running, and the phone call ended, and I continued to run and not even realize that I wasn't even listening to music. I ran another 2 miles with no music on, and I was like, I got home and I was like, wait a minute, why isn't it? It finally occurred to me when I got home that I wasn't listening to anything. It was kind of funny.
Arturo asks, when you guys gonna be in Seattle?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We leave to come home Sunday.
Go to Biscuit Beach.
Don't know where we're going. Chris is our tour guide. I know we're going to go to a baseball game and a football game. And this guy right here is just living the vida loca.
Right there, man. Football. Go Hawks.
Jesus. It's unbelievable. Like, the freaking Fernando lottery.
Oh, dude, really?
Hey. I hope you both are seeing my SQ build on the SQ sound page on Facebook with the Focal 3-way set, with the Focal 3-way flax on the A-pillar and kick pods. I'll have to look for it. I'll definitely check it out. I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook, but you know, it's depressing lately, so I'm trying to stay away from it. Do you have any experience with the Tidal app? Yes, it's a monthly subscription for hi-fi, but totally worth it in my opinion. Yeah, so I did try Tidal. I paid for it for a while, and I hated it. It's just so. It was such a pain to use. The music sounded okay. It wasn't bad, but I just couldn't find anything I wanted to listen to, and that's, to me, was irritating. Because, I mean, the whole purpose of paying for it is to have music. I mean, there was a lot of live stuff on it, which I really kind of dug for a while, but then it just got, kind of got monotonous, and it was irritating. And then one night I sat there and I had to make, playlists, so I took all my iTunes playlists and sat there painfully and made them into Tidal playlists, and then I was like, I'm done. Mm-hmm. I'm done. It's not worth the headache.
All right. Is there anything you both missing because of lacking of time such making content?
What do you mean?
Do you miss anything because we're so busy making content or doing this?
Oh,
do you
yes.
miss anything? What?
I mean, life. I mean, let's be honest. It's life. That? Yeah. I mean, I miss my family. I miss my hobby. I don't have a hobby anymore because I'm constantly doing this.
Yeah.
You know.
I think it's just that.
There's
having that hobby or.
I mean, my week, you guys know what my day is. Multiply that by 6. It's the same thing every day of the week.
Yeah.
You know, Friday nights I don't go running because that's family night to go out to eat. So every Friday night but then I come home after dinner and I edit The Boring Life. You know, hopefully if we didn't get caught out to eat. But no, it's just everything kind of revolves around getting the content out for the show. So, and then it's we're here 6 days a week. So it's when we're here, it's okay. Do we film today? Do we not film today? Is this enough of a content? You know, do we have content? Do we need to film today? Is this something? How busy are we going to be? Do we have? You know, so there's.
And even when
it's
you go
just
home,
nonstop.
When you go home, you're still thinking about work. Okay,
oh yeah, I mean, I've gotten like last night. I was running and it didn't even occur to me because I was just thinking about a friend of mine passed away. That's cool. Not really. And then, all right, so we're going to audio control. What equipment do we need to bring so that we can make the shows? What backpacks do we need to take? Is it all going to fit?
What content we can...
You know, what content are we going to create outside of the 2 live shows? What do we need to film? You know, so all that stuff is constantly going on in the background and sometimes in the forefront. So, yeah. That's
good.
What?
Have you all considered closing on Mondays for 2 days off?
See,
Outlook had an article.
Yeah.
Yes, I read it.
Yeah, we read it too. I read it too, and I'm pretty sure Paul read it, and it got, you know, if it was paper, it got crumpled up and he wiped his ass with it. But, you know, that's one of those things that, yes, I'm not getting any younger, so 100%.
I feel any shop that works Monday to Saturday would love to close on Monday.
Yeah, you're never going to get that argument, for sure. It's no, we don't. We love working so much. I mean, the problem right now is that there's just... Yeah, I got nothing.
Now, keep in mind, if we close on Monday, it's not going to be a Facebook Live show.
Well, just move to Tuesday. You know, and something else will happen on Monday. So it's it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like it ends. It never ends.
Yeah.
It's dang tough to do filming, editing, and trying to spend time with friends. I know this because I used to live stream on Twitch. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I have a couple moments here and there that I get to walk away from this, but it's not a lot. But hey, you know, that's kind of the decision we made when we decided to do as much content as we do. You know, obviously, you know, there's other guys, you know, Mark and Rob and Derek and all those guys that don't put out that much content. Mm-hmm. You know, they'll put out one show a week, and that's cool. But that wasn't something we wanted to do. I didn't want to be a one show a week. I mean, even when we used to do Tuesdays and Thursdays when we first started.
Yeah.
And because I just didn't want to do one show a week. And at some point, I think 3 or 4 years in, we were like, we're going to do this every day because we were creating enough content to do that. And then it just got to the point where it was like, all right, it's just nonstop content. And it's,
well, you start something and you don't want to just like cut everything off. And
right.
I don't.
Like, we tried to quit Mondays, and then everyone's like, well, why didn't, because we were doing this recap show, the Instagram Live recap show. We started that one summer because it was like one of the last summers I was going to have with Haley, and I wanted that Monday so that we didn't have to worry, so I could have a full Sunday is really what that translated out to. And then we stopped doing it, and everyone's like, well, bring that back. And we're like, okay. So, now Sunday morning when I get up, it's like 2 hours of just getting this show ready to go up. It's not like I have to sit there and hold its hand for 2 hours. It's just the process takes about 2 hours. It needs about 20 minutes of me holding its hand over the 2 hours. So it's like, it's just one of those things. I don't know how you do it all with so little sleep. It just sucks. Tell Paul you're gonna strike. I mean, the thing is like right now, like during COVID, it was really miserable because we didn't get away to do anything. But like this week, we're gonna be gone Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Next week, we're gonna be gone. He'll be gone Tuesday. I'll be gone Tuesday and Wednesday. The following week, I'll be gone Saturday. He just took half a Saturday off there. We have a week off in October that we haven't talked about yet. Mm-hmm. We have SEMA coming up in November, which is another 4 days off. So, it's not 52 days off to make up for the 52 weeks of Mondays that we're missing. But, I mean, we're trying. We're trying to find those 52 days that we need to take. So, it's one of those things where you kind of put it in perspective and you're like, okay, well, if we took every Monday off, that's 52 days. Can we find a way to take 52 days off that make more sense? And that's kind of the
and
hiccup.
now, even if you take those days, you got to put it into the other job that is like making content.
Yeah, and honestly, right now, if he came to us tomorrow and said we're going to take Mondays off from now to the end of the year, we'd probably still be here Monday because we got enough other stuff that we need to do that we just don't have time to do because we're doing customers' cars. So it's like we could build the Mustang, we could finish Gabby's car, we could get Haley's car done.
Well, we have plenty days that, like, you know what? If we close, we come over here and finish the bills or finish any content that we have to do. And then something came out and it's like, all right, let's just do this, right?
Yeah, so it's just a matter of trading content for content is really what happens. Mm-hmm. Like the October thing, that happened, and which we're not talking about yet, but that was just trading content for content. It was like, all right, what content's going to be better? This one. All right, we're going to do that. Mm-hmm. So as much as we would love to have done the original idea we had, when a better one presents itself, you have to take it because it's never
just one-time opportunity.
And
maybe,
the idea is to always give you guys as much as we can, and so when we get the opportunity to do something cool, we want to take you guys with us.
Sacrifice myself
to go to the Seattle Seahawks game.
To go to the Seahawks game.
Exactly.
I'm in aid care in a hospital. Walk 20K steps a day on a 12-hour shift. With 3 or 4 days on and 1 day off. Nuts. I'm so burnt out. 100%, man. 100%. And that's the thing. I can totally relate. And my heart goes out to you because, right now, I think everyone is kind of feeling the burn. It just sucks. And, yeah. All right.
So, one question. Can the Alpine Type S be by amp? I don't think so. I mean, if you have that tweeter...
you just have to see if it has the tweeter jump. You might be able to see that in a picture online.
And you got to find the FS of that tweeter.
It's just fine, but it's not the end of the world. How does a 4-ohm sub compare sound-wise to a 2-ohm sub given the same amount of power? Sounds exactly the same. That was actually like one of the biggest concerns years ago, like back in the 90s when like dual voice coil subwoofers were like, everyone started making dual voice coil subwoofers. And it was like, oh, well, what's the difference between a dual voice coil and a single voice coil? Load manipulation. And they're like, well, doesn't one sound better than the other? Because everyone would come in and they'd all want dual voice coil. And you're like, no, they sound exactly the same. There's like a 2% difference, some like a microscopic difference in efficiency. But if you have two dual voice coil drivers, the efficiencies are going to be basically the same. And the efficiency was like a weight difference between like a single voice coil and a dual voice coil. So it wasn't like one was 89 and the other one was 92. It was like one was like 89 and the other one was like 89 and a half. But no, speaker for speaker, power for power, they're going to sound the same. If you're busy enough, take money while you still can. I mean, I get that thought, Fro. I mean, that's I'm past that point in my life, though. I kind of enjoy the time off. Like, I would gladly, if someone says, I'll give you $100 to work or nothing to take the day off, it's like if the day off is on the table, I'm taking the day off. Because I can't get those days back. As you know, when you get to that point that it's like, all right, what's more important, a day off or $100? Like, we all want $100. There's no question about it. But I've worked enough days to make that $100 where I don't really see the value. I see the value more in the day off than I do in the $100. So, who's playing the Seahawks, Fernando? Chargers. Ooh. And how everyone knows why Dean is not a morning person. I'm totally a morning person.
Yeah, you are. We just talked about this morning. About,
don't get me wrong. I don't want to talk to anybody, but I'm totally a morning person. I mean, I want to be left alone to get stuff done because, like, if I'm waking up in the morning, my brain is already going. So I just want to get to work. I don't want to socialize, like, in the morning, but I get up every morning regardless, and I go to work. So whether it be here at home, my brain gets active. Like this morning, it's like 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm going there again. I spent all night thinking about it, but this morning I was like back at it. All right, what equipment do we need to bring? How's it going to fit in the backpack? Blah, 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 blah. And it's like, oh my God. Do you guys have any shop tune my system? Okay, hybrid, installing everything myself, and I feel a little overwhelmed on the tuning end. Or do you feel it's a simple process? I don't think it's a simple process. However, keep this in mind. The class we're teaching this Thursday at Audio Control at apparently 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It's called Demystifying the Black Box. And what we're going to show you is we're going to talk about all the parts of a DSP, and Matthew's going to go through and show you how all those parts work. It's like a 4-part process. Watch that, okay, whether you watch it live or not. And then after you've seen that, then decide what to do. My personal opinion is I'm the kind of guy that I want to figure this stuff out for myself. Don't be afraid of being wrong. Everyone is always worried about getting something wrong. What if I get it wrong? Look, if you got the crossover points right, that's the first step. Once you've gotten those right, then it's just playing with the EQ, playing with the time alignment. And even the timeline is probably the easiest thing. It's like you own a tape measure? Yeah, all right, well, you can figure out time alignment, So,
I think the most important thing is your crossovers.
Yes.
You crossovers, if you
crossover and gain, and always start with your gain low. Mm-hmm. Gain low from the get-go.
And in the end of the day, if your EQ doesn't sound good, hey,
change it.
Reset it. Start over.
Exactly. Yeah. For high power handling components, set the set that has bi-amp option. Do you prefer using it or bridging a 4-channel amp and running them that way? All right, so I've done both. It really just depends on the situation. So, like, if the customer is like, dude, I want this thing to make my ears bleed, then I'm like, okay, we'll put a ton of power to it. We'll bridge a 4-channel, and we'll go and we'll get the power. And that just makes them feel better. However, given the option, I think I'd rather go bi-amp because I would much rather have the control to blend. Being able to have control of the tweeter, in my mind, is the most amazing feature ever. I like to be able to turn it down, turn it up, blend it with the mid-range better than what the passive is going to allow me to do with just the negative, -3, 0, +3, or negative, or 0, -2, -4. So, I mean, my money is on bi-amping, but if you're just going for straight smack you in the face, just go that way. Okay, gotta get back to work. See ya.
See ya, man.
I'm at the credit union, and the teller can hear you. Just said, that's DNF.
That's crazy.
That sounds like a Fernando moment. Don't mono amps have better sound quality at 4 ohm due to dampening? No. So dampening is one of those things that I really want to get Joe on to talk about, because, you know, when you talk to these engineers and you bring up dampening and the story that's being told about dampening, and I think that's the next big hurdle, is understanding dampening, you know, the ability for the amplifier to deal with the woofer, I guess is the best way to think of dampening, meaning when the woofer goes out, you know, that's the power from the amplifier, and then, you know, it's getting pulled back in. But when it comes back in, it's creating energy, and that energy that's coming back into the amplifier has to go somewhere. And the amplifier's ability to control that, like if you take a light bulb and hook it up to a woofer, and you start pushing the woofer in, the light bulb's going to light up. It's pretty cool. But its ability to deal with that, yes, it has a lot to do with sound quality, but there's a point to where there's enough, and then it's just a silly number past that. Now, when you're looking at something, whether it be a mono amp or a stereo amp, I think the stereo amp is probably more important. If it is a lower end stereo amplifier and they give you a 4 ohm rating and a 2 ohm rating, they're really not wanting you to run it at 2 ohm. They don't want you to do it. They're just giving it to you because that's kind of the thing to do. Not all amplifiers are made to work at 2 ohm, even though they say they are. The sound quality just goes right into the toilet. So if a sub amp says it'll play to 1 ohm, you have to assume that it's going to play at 1 ohm. The frequency range that the sub is going to play is so narrow, I really don't think you have anything to worry about. Living to work or working to live? That's a tough one. I think I'm just living to work. Yeah. I don't think I work to live anymore. No. I don't really care. No. I mean, you know, I get a tent. I'm good. They're doing it in California. Just get a tent, live under an overpass. Yeah. The older we get, the more important time is. Yeah, I mean, time has always been important. $100 isn't what it used to be anymore. Don't tell him that. He'll just laugh at you. Go Chargers! That's Bobby, by the way.
Go Seahawks!
Go away! Want to add a D61200 and a Cobalt, but the door chime part, I'm trying to figure it out. Have you talked about it already? No, we have. Yes, of course we have. There's a couple different options you can do. One is obviously go into the radio settings and make sure the chime is turned all the way down. That's the first thing you can do. The second thing you can do is go to the dealer and have them plug the car in and ask them to turn the chime down. They can actually do that on that vehicle. The third thing is you can add a, when you're looking at it, so for example, with a DSP that has an RTA built into it, electrical, meaning it can see the sound coming into it. So like a audio control, for example, there are others, like a Helix has it as well. You can see the signal coming into you can see when the door chimes, you'll see the spike. All you have to do is grab that frequency and go down with it, and it'll turn it down. All right, so it's not as bad as you would think.
But you need an electrical.
Well, no, but I'm saying if the car, yes, you'll need an electrical RTA, or you'll need a. You could probably Google what frequency it is, because I know plenty of people can like spout it right off the top of their head. To be honest with you, like anymore, we don't really worry about it all that much. But yes, the dealer would be the best option if you know somebody that works for Chevy, to just get them to program it down lower. They should be able to do that for you.
Yeah.
Is your Mustang gonna be a big power system? I haven't decided yet.
It has to be.
Okay, so I'm still so in my mind, now that we have one of the new Morel amplifiers, I'm thinking 5 of those would be like right on point. I don't know if I want to do 5 amplifiers in my car.
Yeah.
So, because I like rear. I want rear speakers. So, There's no world in which the rear speakers are not going to play. So, I always get my eyes too high on my amp. Is that a setting from the frequencies? Oh, or gain, but yes. I mean, if your highs are too high, then you've turned something up. So whether it's in the EQ or the gain on the amplifier or the passive crossover. Passive crossovers typically have those, -3, 0, -4, that kind of thing. So that's where you want to start. One other nice thing about like a Kenwood radio is that a Kenwood actually has a band for tweeters so that you can actually turn the tweeter down, which is really cool that they do. Any ideas what frequency travels the furthest? Actually, yes I do. So if you would like to know what frequency, the lower the frequency, the farther it's going to travel. So a 20 hertz bass note is going to travel farther than a 50 hertz bass note. The higher the frequency, the shorter the distance, and my iPad is dead. There's actually an app you can get to tell you exactly how many feet a sound wave travels, and I'll have to charge this up real quick. We'll come back to that. But so kind of like the rule of thumb is 50 hertz is right around 50 feet. So a higher. All right, so that answers that. But there is an app. So if this thing charges up in the next couple seconds, we'll take a look at it. Pro tech tip of the day. Get to the airport early. And if you are going to buy a drone, buy blade protectors if you're planning on flying it anywhere around your face. And then when you do buy them, get yourself a paint marker and color code the right one so that you don't have to sit there for 20 minutes to try to figure out which one goes onto what wing. As far as car stereo pro tips of the day go, if you have a Ford and it has an aluminum
chassis,
just run a ground to the battery. I had another guy in here today he's just like, oh, I go here. I'm like, good for you. Good for you. How did Nana's wife get to be a Titans fan?
Oh, I mean, she was like, she's a football fan before I started watching football.
Yeah, but the thing is she's from Pennsylvania. You got two good teams in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
How did she get into the Titans?
That was players that she loved how to play and all that stuff. So she decided.
So she became a fan because of ass.
Of players, yes.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I just like the Seattle Seahawks.
So Fernando's was easy. Mm-hmm. He just kind of, since he's not from here, it was just a matter of he got the random. So he got to pick whichever team he liked.
Yeah.
And apparently he likes the colors.
Yeah, I love the colors. Yeah.
So he got to pick whatever team he wanted. We've argued this point many, many times. You live in Florida, you gotta like the Bucks.
I can't.
And I'm like, dude, we got Tom Brady, bro.
I know.
And
he's good.
He's the GOAT. We got Super Bowls.
Yes.
We got Dose.
We got one.
We got two.
You guys got two.
We have two.
Yeah.
Oh, Seahawks?
Yeah.
Well, you guys got Campbell soup. It's all good. You done worked every brother on the Seahawks. Who sang that? Who sang that? That's all I can think about. Trinidad, what's up? Trinidad, Tobago.
Hey, William, Mr. William Bird.
Okay, thank you for your help. I just didn't. Yeah, okay, no problem. Just want crazy lot.
Oh, okay.
5 amps, that's a lot of current. It's not a lot of current.
So, 50 hertz is 22.6.
Could be. Like I said. Hold on, it's rebooting now. It might have been half that. It's been a long time since I've had to have that sales pitch where we sat there and we talked about how long a bass note was and all that nonsense. So it could have been half. I honestly don't remember. But like I said, I have an app that will tell me. Amplifiers, not amps. Both. It's a lot. It's a lot of everything. But question for Fernando. Do you overlap sound dampening or butt up sheets to one another?
Sometimes you just like put one on top of the other. Normally I don't, just grab.
Look at Fro throwing down those numbers like, you know what's going on. Right.
On the speaker, definitely don't overlap on the side of the speaker because it adds a little bit more to the speaker and the speaker adapter, foam and everything. So never on the speaker side. On the other side you can do that, it's fine.
The drone was saying, "Why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself?" Well, my cheek is doing good. The cheek's almost gone. The nose is it needs a couple more days on the nose, and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
So that's cool. It's actually healing pretty fast. I was shocked.
That's crazy, man.
Who's number 22 on the Titans? Do you know? Do you even follow that
Henry.
crap? Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Way to go, man. I have no idea.
Running back, baby.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the stadium while we were there.
Yeah.
I waved. Hi, bye.
We're good.
Oh, all right. App is up. All right, cool. Let's have some fun. And it died again. Really? Come on. No, give it a second. It was straight dead.
1 second.
Oh,
Still.
yeah. All right. Well,
2 seconds.
Apparently,
Nothing.
tapping the screen was enough. All right, it's booting up
3
again.
seconds.
All right, we'll
Nothing.
give it more. All right, see. Did you make it to the Titan? Or did you make it to? I did make it to Titan. Yes. I put up a picture on Instagram of my buddy Donnie. But yes, I did make it to Titan. My buddy Donnie gave me the tour. I got to see our boy Miguel. That place is insane, man. Like, the place is straight up insane. The amount of business they do there, and it's like they're like their place is 5 times the size of ours and just as packed. Like they're like they need a giant building, and like we had to park like a mile away just to get in there. He's 6'3". How could you miss him?
Oh, dude.
Oh, it died again.
He's a beast.
All right, just let it. That's fine. It's just. I don't know. It's just. I mean, it was straight dead. It hasn't been plugged in days.
Well, I mean, it's just dead or straight dead or
It's
not dead.
straight dead. Not
So
dead.
it's kind of
dead.
crooked dead?
It's kind of no. It's straight. It was crooked before. Now it's just straight. So if I want people to hear me from far, I have to go for lower hertz. Yes, the deeper bass travels much farther than the highs. However, you've been to a concert, right? And the highs are gonna bounce around the most. Like we have cars that drive up the street that have the speakers in the grills, and when the speakers are in the grills, they bounce off of these apartments in the back, so we can actually hear them way out there back here because they're bouncing off of that. The bass, on the other hand, I mean, you have a UPS truck drive by that's got good exhaust, and it's just like the whole store's rumbling. So you should hear the bass way before you hear the highs, unless you just have a ton of highs. Because remember, it's all about SPL. So if you have 150 hertz of bass, it's going to be so loud. And if 150 hertz of treble, it's going to be so loud. Both of them are going to want you to cry.
Yeah. I think this.
Just install Infinity components. What are you doing?
That cable doesn't work anymore.
You think it's a cable? We had.
Of course it's a cable. I got mine.
Okay. All right. We'll try it again. Just install Infinity components, and their tweeter crossover is too low. Crossover point.
Sound effects.
Sometimes they do that, and it's really kind of annoying. Yeah, I mean, like the original Kenwood speakers, the original 7-inch, I thought that the tweeter was not low enough. They just really kind of detuned the tweeter. When you go active, you were like, this ain't the same tweeter. The new tweeter, on the other hand, is way better. Night and day. My mids and highs are always heard long before the subwoofer. Well, it depends on how many mids and highs you have. That's just UPS truck. They stole the catalytic converters off of. Oh yeah, nice, right? Do you run Class D amps for front stage versus AB amps? Okay. Oh, there's that word.
Again.
Oh, anytime I say okay, that means I'm getting ready to give a thought.
All right.
You can buy affordable AB class amplifiers out there that are using technologies from the 70s, 80s, and 90s that are reasonably priced, and they sound good. You can buy a new Class D amplifier, like these audio controls, the D4.800 that's in here. Previously, the PDX V9s. Now, whatever the current PDX amplifier, PDXW, whatever the heck it's called. And I'm only using those as a reference point. The Kicker KX series, even the Rockford power mini Ts. But there's dozens and dozens and dozens of Class D highs amplifiers that sound phenomenal, and that most people would never be able to tell the difference between Class D and Class AB, because it's gotten that good. It's gotten that good, in my opinion. And there again, that's my opinion. It's not fact. Because fact needs to be followed up by extensive paperwork and testing and all that. So we'll just settle on my opinion. I feel that Class D technology is far enough along to where we have some of the best sounding amplifiers that we've ever heard. It is fake news. It is fake news. Getting our Disneyland new Disney Key Pass tomorrow. Back to Disney time.
I heard that. They know it's not any more fast passes.
I don't even want to know. The girls have been complaining about it for days. Mosconi's AB amp. They do make that AB 8-channel amplifier. We actually had one in here the other day. We got to look at for a couple minutes, and it was pretty cool. It is way bigger than you would think because it's an AB class amplifier. So, it just comes down to what your goals are. I'm cool either way. And that's the fact, Jack. Don't rub it in, Bobby.
He's going to Disney?
Yeah. Well, the app is not going to power. I'll tell you what, we'll save the app. Maybe tomorrow we'll come back on. We'll talk about that. We'll charge up the iPad and we'll show you the app so that if you want to figure out frequency and distance, you can. It's pretty cool. It's also got an RTA and all that other fun stuff in it. It's made for concerts and stuff like that if you're doing that. Do you have a favorite car to work on? Definitely an F-150.
Okay.
I love working on F-150s because it's autopilot. Like, we can do an F-150. Like, he knows what he has to do. I know what I have to do. Yeah. We don't have to think about it. It's almost like having a day off from mentally. Because you just come in, like, you do exactly what needs to be done, and we have all the pieces pre-made. So we can just, like, boom, done. Here we go. So I do like working on the F-150s. I mean, for the most part, I like working on Jeeps. The only part I hate about Jeeps is that it's not easy to get in and out of them. But I mean, honestly, I don't think I think it's like, I don't really care.
No.
I don't really care. I mean,
no.
There's some cars that
like
you just
this one,
straight up don't want to work on, but
it's just time.
It's exactly it. That's it right there. It's only just time. So it's just about how long is it going to take to do that job and, get it done. They're all going to get the same amount of effort put into them. But yeah, it's just time. Gotta go. All right, cool. You do that. Favorite marine amp and 6.5s.
Ooh.
I feel like the industry standard for marine amplifiers has been JL for so long that it's like, But, Rockford has their new, which reminds me when we're done, I have to see if we have the M8004.
Okay.
Because they wanted me to test that. The new M stuff is really nice.
What I love about those amplifiers, they're small.
Yeah.
You can fit them like almost anywhere. They come with the big plugs and everything. Looks like a computer,
and their speakers are great.
The speakers.
I would check out the Kicker M stuff. I think you'll be surprised.
The Rockford M stuff.
Is the Audio Frog amp Class D or AB mix? I can tell you right now, it wasn't AB because it was the size of my phone. I mean, it was about this size right here. So there's no AB class amplifier that's this size right here. More than likely, it was probably G or H, but I don't know.
Okay,
I mean, look at the
now
match
you
stuff.
talk about,
yeah.
Tony's AB amplifier was almost bigger than this.
Yes.
So.
But Tony designed his amplifier. That's Tony.
Yeah,
he designed something very specific. So, and where are those amplifiers, by the way? They're not out.
They're not out.
Yeah, exactly. So, and there again, there's a lot of shit going on in the world, so I'm sure that's part of the problem. But we don't have those yet to go crazy over. We will soon enough.
2-way or 3-way active? currently running 2 3.5 coaxials in the dash and 2 6.5 coaxials in the doors. Okay. So, I mean, do you have the power? Do you have the amplifiers for the active?
Well, the tweeter in the door is what's going to screw it up. So.
And then what car, right? If you don't have enough space for the tweeter.
Oh, you mean for the mid-range?
Yeah.
Yeah. They both sound great. I mean, if you got a 3.5 in the dash, you could. Okay, so if you had a 3.5 in the dash, you could do a set of Illusion C3s up in the dash,
yeah.
C3S or C3Cs or whatever they are, and that'd be a 3.5 tweeter that's active up in the dash. Those sound great. I mean, you can still do it with the Kenwood C3s. You could still bi-amp those and just go with a mid-bass in the door. So.
All right, so you have a Kia Optima. I don't know if that 3.5 is gonna fit.
Yeah.
So.
M5 8004 is a little beast, but they get hot. Well, yeah, of course they do. All those amps get hot. Team, when you guys go to Audio Control, talk Chris into doing a giveaway. Not right now.
They're just giving away tickets for a Seattle Seahawks. You wanna come?
The problem is, okay. Listen, I would love to talk them into doing a giveaway. The problem right now, there's no product.
No.
Every product, really like there's dealers out there that have been waiting for stuff for months. So inventory is so low. That's the last thing I would ask them to do.
No.
I mean, maybe give away a couple hats or a T-shirt or something like that. That's cool, but I can't.
Sure they would do that. Shirts.
Yeah, I mean, I just can't ask them to do that. I mean, maybe I'll steal some hats when we go there or something, and we'll bring them back and we'll give them away here. But I can't ask them to give stuff away right now. It's too hard. I have those Illusions C3CX in dash, 8-inch in door. A lot of impact from the door with 75 watts on each. Yeah, that's the combo right there, man.
Perfect. Yeah.
I really want to get my hands on one of those anniversary Epicenters. Well, you guys are gonna see them. We're actually gonna have one for you guys to see.
We're gonna show you. Yeah.
So we're pretty excited about that. They told us, because I asked, I was like, do we have one there that we can show and tell people about? And they're like, we're working on it.
Yeah.
I'll take a rain check. Bobby, you're too much. You're too much. Did this fire back? Nope, it just died again. All right, we're done with the iPad.
No.
All right, guys, listen, we're going to end it there. We're going to let you guys get on with your day. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been 5 Minutes of 5 Star. Make sure to tune in tomorrow, 5 Minutes of 5 Star. Also, don't forget about Thursday on YouTube, Friday on YouTube. We got 2 big live shows coming up from Audio Control. So stay tuned. You guys have a great rest of your day. We'll see you later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.